How's it going, guys? Welcome to today's video. It is towards the end of November, and believe it or not, we are actually dry, completely dry. None of the cows are milking. The way this year has went with the rain, the wet, we've been in full time now over a month at this stage. We tried to do a little bit of on-off grazing. It has been quite wet, so that was quite difficult. So housed a lot earlier, used up a lot of our good silage earlier and faster. So we're on our main dry cow silage. Production with the cows isn't as good, and this year the milk price isn't very good either. So we were conscious with the quality of silage. We haven't tested the main pit now, but we were conscious it isn't that good for milking cows. We were afraid that they might start dropping condition if we were to continue to milk them on. So we decided we'd go and dry them all off a bit early. The main thing when you get to this time of year is you're focusing on next year. We thought we'd just give ourselves a bit of a head start, give it a nice long dry period, and hopefully see again next year. Just the way things are going on our farm. First time I've done it, we're about 3 weeks early dried off than normally. So just in our old shed, we got our bull calf weanlings here. They'll be vasectomized next year. We have 12 this year, so we actually have them in 2 pens. You could fit a bit more in the pens, but there was too many to fit in one, so they seem to be doing okay. They're not getting too dirty. But we got some new manhole covers in this shed. We got these from JDR Engineering in Limerick. There's another one in that hole, and there's one over there. They're nice and strong. We got a few before, and we have one more actually for this hole, but that hole is okay at the moment. But I would expect that maybe in a year or two that we'll need to replace that one, so I said I'd get them all together. So a little bit of silage left here. Today is a Friday, so I want to feed silage out for everyone today, enough for the weekend. So the way we feed out, we can feed out enough for 3 days. So if I feed everyone today, there'll be no silage put out over the weekend. We'll do it till Monday. Just going to push in some of the silage here, make sure it's all spread out and they can eat it up, and start feeding out wherever they are finished. One thing I love about the way we feed out our silage is the fact that we can land it out in a big block and not spread it, not mix it up with the air. You can put out that larger volume and it doesn't go stale, and it allows you to do it all in one shot, and then all you have to do is push it in for the other days. I like to push in the stuff twice, so if you saw there, I was kind of driving along very far out. That's just to make sure I get any piece that's you know, way out further. We do the second run along here, and we'll make sure it's all pushed in well in reach. I do get a lot of questions on the wheel. It's basically just a tire on a rim with another wheel welded, a small wheel welded in the middle of the bigger wheel. And that small wheel still has the bearing and the bracket on it from whatever that was off, and there's just a bit of channel iron then welded on top of the bracket then that we can slide in the tines of the grab to pick it up, and it just spins on the bearing. So I have the bucket on here now. Just before I start putting out silage, I want to clean away a bit of waste, so we don't take waste, any waste that's on the pit on the sides or maybe at the top or something, we don't take it off the pit first. We just take the grabs, feed it out, and because we don't mix the feed, we just land it out in front of them. the cows are able to pick out the good stuff and leave the bad stuff behind. If it was mixed in together, you couldn't do this. You'd have to take the bad stuff away first, because the cows wouldn't be able to pick it out and they'd end up eating it. You don't want that. But because we just put it out in front of them with the grab, they can pick it out, and then we can come along then after and clear it away. So I usually try and put some of the bad stuff, so there's a little bit of waste on the sides mainly. We ran out of tires, so up at the top there's a little bit of waste. So usually I just try grab the bit of the side and I put it out here at the front for the cows to pick through, and then I can clean it away more often. Try to keep the cleaner stuff down the feed passages, so I don't have to clean them up as often. But there's one little spot down there. I'm just gonna gather that up, gather up the stuff in the front here. There's not that much. There was a good bit of waste at the back of the pit at the top, because as I said, we ran out of tires. Now we've got up to the top of the pit. There's not that much. There's a little bit right on the sides up at the top there where we were missing some tires. But important thing with the side split is you want the weight on it. You gotta have the tires on it. We just had more pit silage than we normally do this year, and we ran short tires, despite actually we did get a few more extra tires this year. With that small bit coming out further out the yard, that used up a good few tires as well. Right, so I have the front cleared away. The heifers, it's mainly heifers of first calvers here in C. They pretty much have all their silage done, so they're ready for silage. Cows in B have a good bit left, so I won't do them till the afternoon when they've kind of finished that up. So the cows in A here are nearly finished, so not much left. I would rather they finish this before I put out any more, because once I put out fresh stuff, they'll eat that. They won't eat this. And then I'll be wanting them to finish it then in another few days, and it'll start to be sales. So I would rather they eat up a bit more of what's there. The only thing is, so there's two cuts in this big silage pit. Second cut on top, first cut underneath. First cut's a good bit nicer. The second cut came in when it was quite wet, so it's not as nice. And you'd often see that if I put the both of them out along, they'll eat up all the first cut stuff first, and then you end up having to spread out the second cut on the last day or later on. I would like to give the heifers the first cut stuff, but that means obviously there's a new pit face here, so there's not much first cut available for me to get, given that second cut's on top, first cut's on the bottom. If I was to feed A first, I could take off second cut and then feed C and give them all first cut. So the question is, are the heifers hungry? Do they need to be fed right away, or will they wait a couple of hours? They had all their stuff finished this morning, so they're probably kind of hungry, but they're not too bad. Huh? Will you wait a couple of hours for the nicer silage? Marianne's on the bob man there doing the cubicles. I think I'm going to wait. They'll be alright for a couple of hours. They don't need to be fed straight away. I'll just let these cows finish up, because I would rather put the first cut out with them, and these cows could get the second cut. Normally, if I wasn't too fussed, I'd give them a bit of ease. So I'd basically just work down and work across the pit from that way, so they get a mix of both. But just the way they're divided up at the moment, try and give better feed to those who want it more. No point having heifers getting the poor feed and some fat cows getting good feed. Now I'm after putting on the big grab, but I might just pop that off and put on the Tanco. This is our old shear grab we used to use in the pit. It's a Tanco multi-shear. It can be used on pit and bales. You can see there's a clamp in here that can be used for the bales. Good grab. It has fed out a lot of silage. Even though we have it, I'd say 10 years, and it's fed a lot of silage. But as you can see, the tines here are kind of worn. They're after getting very short. There's one missing, there's another one broken halfway off. You know, some of them are very short, which creates a big gap here. Puts a lot of pressure on it if you're trying to open the bale. We just use this for bales now and use the Tighe for the pit. But it puts a lot of pressure when there's so much space. It doesn't often cut the bale that well. Kind of squeezes it, puts pressure on the blades and the tines more. Now as you can see, this blade is cracked, it's bent out, and the other one actually broke off. I have tines for this, so we got to take all these off, put on the new set, and weld on these blades again. Just make sure, you can see there's only a few welds every now and again, so they cracked. Maybe weld them on, maybe give it a sharpen. Just like to get that done, especially since the blades have broke. I don't really want to use it now. There's a few bales that I could feed still, but definitely in springtime we will want it. Now we got the loader up, we have the stick under it for safety, ready to take off these. First thing I might do is I might put a bit of heat on these, see if that helps, and then WD-40 before we go and try to take any of them off, because they're going to be well rusted in. So I've got the end one loose. I'm taking that off at the moment. So after I heated it, I would loosen it with a big long bar, which I forgot to get a clip of, and then we'd use the drill. She's being tested today, isn't it? Lovely new set here, ready to go. Just dipping the threads in a bit of oil, it'll be easier to tighten after. Finish A here and just putting a little bit at the front from the edge, not putting that much at the front because it's easier for them to sort through and there's only a little bit, but I've fed out a good bit on the far side there, enough for the weekend. 35 minutes it's taken me to feed A, which is 136 cows in A. 35 minutes, and that's it for the weekend. Just to keep it pushed in. I'll probably maybe top up a little bit at the front when they finish this tomorrow and Sunday, but that's only a small bit. So all first cut silage now going to these heifers. That I'm not giving them quite as much because the heifers don't eat as much as the cows. So normally it's a grab and a half per span, whereas these guys I'm just giving them a grab per span. I hope it's enough for the weekend, but if we're short a bit, we can always throw a small bit on Sunday. So that's 2 sections done, A and C. So it took me an hour to feed out the 2 of them. I'm gonna have a bit of lunch and then I'll come out, I'll feed B. And there's, I think, 75 or 80 cows down below in the shed. Feed them as well. They won't take that long, but they're that little bit further away. I haven't taken too many shots because I do want to, this is the first time I'm actually like timing it, seeing actually how long does it take me to feed out the silage with the new loader and the new grab. So to feed everybody, there's 480 cows here, including the heifers. Just back out here now after lunch, going to do the silage in B and the indoor cubicle. So silage done now in B, and I have one more grab to go over to the shed. But that's taking me about 55 minutes to do here and the shed. About 5 minutes or so if I had put out the full amount on A. So it's about 2 hours to feed out all of the silage for 3 days. It's just interesting to see it. Then all I'll have to do for the next couple of days is push it in. So if you added on about 10 minutes for every day for pushing in, that would bring you up for the 3 days. That's 2.5 hours total, 2 hours feeding out silage, and then 10 minutes each day pushing in and stuff like that. So 2.5 hours over 3 days. So that means it's working out at about 50 minutes per day. So obviously I do it all today, means I don't have to do it over the weekend, but I could do like one section like a day. That's what I would have done in the past to spread the work out evenly, but it's not, particularly coming into weekends, it's nice to do it all on Friday. That would work out 50 minutes a day to feed 480 cows there is here. So in my opinion that's fairly good going. A lot of people always ask me, would I not get a diet feeder? I don't think you could feed that fast with a diet feeder. With loading, feeding out. See, you'd have to feed more often, that's the big thing as well. Because you couldn't put out as large amounts at one time. The other thing is cool to know is when we had the Tanco grab, it was taking just over an hour. I think it was maybe 1 hour and 5, 1 hour and 10 minutes a day. So we've knocked off, you know, 15-20 minutes an average a day of work of feeding silage with the bigger grab, which adds up to a lot, you know, when you're doing it all in the one day. 45 minutes quicker. So it's getting dark there now. The days have gone awful short, but we got the tines. Can't really see now with the light, but we did get the short tines. They're all on the new grab. We just need to get the big tines on. They're a little bit loose, so we need to look at maybe putting more thread on them, or some sort of a way of being able to tighten them. A few repairs just done here on there's a bit more welding to do here with the blades, but getting dark now, so we'll probably end up going to do them tomorrow. But tomorrow, Saturday, I want to get this video up for tomorrow. So that's going to be all for today's video, guys. Thanks very much for watching. See you in the next one.